government have reiterated their readiness. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Kagiso in the West Rand.
And Gauteng, KZN and the Eastern Cape have recorded the highest number of voter registrations to date for the upcoming elections. The IEC held a briefing this afternoon on its state of readiness in Tshwane ahead of the second voter registration weekend. A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lerato Hufela, Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 947. For more, click ewn.co.za.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Bafana Bafana is the best team in the world. Hey, Bafana Bafana. Gonna samba, Come, 750. Hi, Bafana Bafana is the best team in the world.
Il l'a fait! Debo Mokoena! C'est lui qui a obtenu le coup franc! Et c'est lui, sur ce coup franc exceptionnel, qui va envoyer les Bafana Bafana en quart de finale de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations! Debo Mokoena, 2-0 pour l'Afrique du Sud face au Maroc.
This AFCON is going to be the best AFCON in the history of African football.
Andre Arendse, former Bafana Bafana great. He used to be very great at one thing and giving us a prediction. In fact, you were so great, you gave us an exact score. So give us that exact score so we can go and sleep.
So I can tell you now, the heart's gone, it's all in the head now, and the head says 2-1 Bafana.
2-1 Bafana, cheers.
I'm not afraid of Morocco, Baba. Definitely, I'm not afraid of Morocco.
Morocco. 2-1. I think even the baby there in the background agrees.
Well, for me, thus far, this is the best AFCON I've ever witnessed. Yo, kunzima la. Kushubile.
From Sitoli, Makopa looks offside. It's in the back of the net. Flag stays down. The goal is given. A straight red for Amrabat. It's a very good kick. It's another goal. South Africa make it 2-0.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW. Wednesday nights, soccer nights, your nights.
And I think, first of all, it's important that players have confidence. You get confidence with winning games. And we needed some time to make a team. I got a lot of critics in South Africa, a certain moment, because of the choices I made. But I knew what I was doing. I know the results have to follow. And even with local players now, you see they play on that high level. When they have the confidence, they can do it. And this is very important for the South African football.
I know what I am doing. That's the coach of Bafana Bafana, Hugo Broos, addressing the media post the triumph last night that everybody is still recovering from. It's like a hangover Wednesday, eh? Tell you what, Bafana Bafana went into their game last night with so much made of the fact that Bafana's AFCON qualifying victory over the Atlas Lions back in June of last year. If you remember that game at the FNB Stadium, it was a dead rubber. Even Morocco's head coach, Walid Radrougi, said afterwards that his players had their minds on the holidays. That was a famous quote that came through from the coach himself. Well, they've now added to the ever-growing list of continent's biggest names to have been knocked out of the Africa Cup of Nations because in St. Pedro, at the Stade Laurent Pocou Stadium last night, there could be no such excuses for the Moroccan coach, as his outrageously talented, wealthy overseas-based stars were humbled by Hugo Broos' superbly, and I say superbly organized because he got it spot on. Very humble, Bafana Bafana. I think the crowd gave them no chance. The nation of Morocco gave them no chance. And I think they gave a kind of display full of fight, full of heart, combined with the ruthlessness and attack that was vital against the defensively solid Atlas Lions. I can describe it in many, many ways. Maybe you can describe it better. Simply send us a WhatsApp voice note 060-708-0484. I guess it was an impressive, courageous performance, to put it mildly, from all our lads to not only stand the continent's number one ranked side, yeah, Morocco are number one on the continent, but to also send out a strong warning to the rest of the continent that, hey, we can win this thing. And we were talking about it just the other day, saying out of all the years that we have had the Africa Cup of Nations, maybe since 96, my guest might correct me and say maybe there was another time that we might have come closer, but there's just, they always say there's something in the air. Is it about 1995 Rugby World Cup victory? Hey, Francois Pienaar lifting that trophy at Ellis Park. And then what happens the following year? Boom! Bafana Bafana won the Africa Cup of Nations. What happened last year? In France, the Rugby World Cup. Who lifted the trophy? The Box. A year later, or let's say the next year, it's Africa Cup of Nations. And who's in the quarterfinal? We are allowed to dream. We're not saying that these things happen because there is an equation, but we're allowed to dream. We're allowed to formulate all sorts of formations around this. Oh, you know, when you see Debs playfully poking fun at Morocco, mimicking that celebration of Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, you've got to love how the world turns. You've got to love how people think on their toes. Because I'm sure you don't go in there thinking, I don't know, maybe they did. But it was brilliant. The world loved it. So who's up next? Cape Verde, who've been one of the surprise packages of the tournament so far. But I say bring them on. Going to be dissecting this clash. We've got Sunday Times sports editor here in studio. He walks on this hallowed turf for the very first time. Bareng Bartu Kortjaas, good to see you, sir. Welcome. Welcome to MSW.
I guess I'm breaking my virginity with these hollowed halls, as you put it. It is great to be here. It's wonderful to wake up and still understand that one is a job at the Sunday Times. There's a lot of unemployment in this country of ours.
Yes.
It's wonderful to wake up and be able to see your children and be able to go and do something in order to be able to provide for them. A lot of men like you and I are not in a position to do that. So those of us who still have that opportunity must be grateful for that. And if we are, in whatever small way, be able to lend a hand to a fellow brother to assist in maybe buying those uniforms, in maybe getting that bit of grocery or donating our old clothes, let us do that because humanity knows no end. It's great to be here. Thanks for welcoming me, Robert, and good evening to your listeners too.
Sure. Philosophical, I've always known you to be. Practical, pragmatic, I've always known you to be. But I think that always touches the heartstrings of a nation that is looking for something. We're looking for happiness. Did we find happiness last night?
I think last night we sent a message that reverberated from Cape to Cairo that, after all, there is a team in South Africa that can play this round-shaped pigskin called football. Excuse me. And given the fact that Bafana Bafana took us, as you rightfully put it, after the Springboks in 95 to 96, I think there's a small matter that I want to address.
Yeah.
Before 96, Bafana Bafana in 95, there was a football club from South Africa that competed in the then African Champions Cup, which we now know as the Champions League.
Yes.
And prior to that team going to that final and winning it, this is Orlando Pirates against ASEC Mimosa in Abidjan. In Abidjan, in Ivory Coast, underline that. There are several players who had played for Chomo Cosmos at the Cup Winners' Cup.
Yes.
Yamazu McFish.
Yes.
Uhelman Mkelele.
Yes.
Uzobabala Bonke. If you don't know, Google it. Those smartphones are not for nothing.
And both of them are where? At Ivory Coast right now.
The other one is working as a CAF official. The other one is the assistant coach of Bafana Bafana, second in command to Hugo Broos. And so, we went to France and Sia Colisi and these men did what they did. what are the omens? We had happiness last night simply because Bafana Bafana under Hugo Broos, who I like to call these days Bafana Bafana, I don't think did the unthinkable. It was expected because, Robert, we went there as a bunch of no-hopers. A lot of people, including some among us South Africans, did not give Bafana Bafana a chance. They may say for good reason. Bafana Bafana has been serial heartbreakers for many, many years. And 96 gold, Clive Barker. Burkina Faso, silver, Jomo Sono. Ghana in Nigeria, the first time AFCON was co-hosted, bronze, Trot Muloto. And then we went to Mali, Carlos Queiroz, quarterfinals, and then it was a slippery slope. There were moments where we didn't even qualify. There were moments when we qualified, like the last time in 2019, we had to use calculators and all those things in order to even look at whether we're going to the outs of the group stages, right? We did. What then you may say would have been the unthinkable, beating Egypt. But last night was a statement. Last night was a statement to the rest of Africa to say, we are not there yet. I liked what the captain, Ronwen Williams, said before the game. We have not won anything. Of course, we had won only one game against Namibia. Mind you, the biggest scoreline at AFCON by Bafana, because Burkina Faso, Penny McCarthy 4 goals, but Namibia managed to score 1 goal. So this was 4-0 Schoon, Namibia. So that was great. It set a marker. It said to me, there's something about Hugo Broos and being a man who is honest. Yeah. When he first started, Hugo Broos gets appointed in 2021. You will remember a guy called Themba Zwane.
Yes.
Themba Zwane having won the Players' Player, Football Player of the Season, Midfielder of the Season, and all the awards at the PSL. And his club, Mamelodi Sundowns, Hugo Broos said, I'm not a conventional person. You know, he is as left field as you can imagine, as I wrote in the Sunday Times this past week. He said, no, there's no room for this guy in my team. He's old, right? Goes on, we get to know Guti, a player from Maritzburg United, Ubongo Gutle Hlongwane, can play for Bafana Bafana. We get to know that Umobi, one of the Bruce's most favorite players, up until Mutau said, this actually is my place. And he went the way that nobody expected. In South Africa, we think that what we deem as superstars are the guys that needs to go and play at Bafana, playing for the so-called big teams in the country. Bruce went the other way. Yeah. What happened? We got to a stage where Bruce said, you know what, I made a mistake. Themba Zwane actually is the guy who, when he plays well, the team plays well. Themba Zwane is one of the best players that I've coached in my career. Context, again, is important. We went there with Hugo Broos, who has a love-hate relationship with a lot of South African soccer fans. Yeah. But guess what? He doesn't give a flying toss.
And he hasn't since he arrived in the country.
The man says what he believes. The man says what he thinks. He doesn't worry about how it rubs Robert Marawa and BBK Kortjaas the wrong way or whatever. He will say it. He says that the standard of the PSL is low. He says that there are not too many players playing in Europe, in South Africa. He says what a lot of the Amakosi army felt very aggrieved about, that there's no player who deserves to be in the Bafana Bafana team. But the fact of the matter is what he's saying is not new. Carlos Queiroz said this. Yes. Carlos Alberto Pereira said the very same thing. But what is important here is that we don't listen in this country. But again, context. Where was Hugo Broos in 2017?
He was winning it to Cameroon.
He was winning it to Cameroon. What happened in Cameroon? Almost a carbon copy of what is happening here. But even worse with Cameroon, because they had many players who played in Europe for established teams.
Oh yeah, superstars.
Your Joel Matip for the team that you and I both love.
Oh yes.
Turned it down, you know, and there's a whole list that I can count. They did not go there. Hugo Broos put together a team. The media in Cameroon were hammering him. They said, this is not going to happen. What do we say in South Africa? The pilot must not switch off the aeroplane because we're coming back in the first round. Hugo Broos went all the way. He lifted that thing. He won that thing. So we were happy in South Africa. And there's a shortage, not of electricity this time around. We've gotten used to this thing. It's been around with us for 2008. Hello, Dr. Josiento. But there's a shortage of humble pie.
Yes.
There is a shortage. You can't find humble pie here because what Bafana delivered was an extreme of emotions. You open against Mali, you lose 2-0. and it's doomsday. We told you so. Okay, sharp. We regroup. We play Namibia. It's a Kosafa derby. We put 4. And guess who starts? That guy, Timbers one.
The old man.
The old man, right? Who's now the heartbeat of Bafana. And you get a goal, coming from a Tau. Again, you got to be strong. You missed the penalty. I don't know what would have happened if we scored that penalty against Mali. We had our foot on the forward. Mali were chasing shadows. Convert that and maybe things could have turned differently. But there are no ifs, there are no buts in football. We lost. We win against Namibia. And then, we are the best. What does social media say? Argentina were lucky we were not at the World Cup in 2022. This is South Africa. We wear our hearts on our sleeves, right? Yeah. We have to play Morocco. No, we still have to play Tunisia before that. It's the end of the road. The naysayers come back. We play a draw. We're defending. We're not playing positive football. Excuse me, my friends, my fellow South Africans, and I'm no Cyril Ramaphosa. AFCON is a tournament, and tournament football is not about style. Tournament football is not about panache. Tournament football is about playing 7 games, 3 in your group stages, last 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. You and I are talking today at 18-18, not that alcoholic drink from Russia. We are talking today at 18-18, and Bafana Bafana are going to play a quarterfinal rather against Cape Verde, as you rightfully said in your intro.
No, absolutely, BBK. I think no better summary than that. And that is why, when we call upon individuals like yourself who've been at the game, not because it is your industry, not because of the job that you do, but because of the love that you have for the sport from an early age is your understanding. And we've seen the dips. We've seen the ups and downs. Okay, local coach fails, get a foreign coach, local coach. So we've been dipping up and down, since Jeff Butler's days, et cetera, et cetera. It didn't make it for long, even then. So we are at a stage now where the world is saying, we didn't see South Africa. That was a blind spot moment. Was it a blind spot moment? I don't know. BBK will answer.
Africa Cup of Nations, Cote d'Ivoire 23. Real-time action was Robert Marawa. #MSW AFCON.
Live your adventure in the rugged GWM P Series LT from just $7,299 per month. Torque on demand 4-wheel drive means the P Series LT conquers the toughest of trails, and 4 high-definition cameras offer a complete 360-degree view, helping to avoid collisions. Available with a 10% deposit over 72 months at prime minus 4.7% with a 40% balloon. Visit dealassist.gwm.coza for full T's and C's. The P Series Double Cab LT 4x4. Power, precision, persistence.
Is this the soundtrack to your cat's health? Put the bounce back into their lives with the new Feline Cuisine Specialized Diet Range. It's boosted with ingredients to help them with joint health, weight management, or hairball control. With this range, you can ensure your cat is perfectly healthy and happy. Put your cat on a Feline Cuisine Specialized Diet today, because smart pets deserve smart food.
There's no place like House & Home for stylish summer savings. Get the 323-litre Defy Satin Metallic Finish Water on Tap Bottom Freezer Fridge for only $6,499. Or buy the Restonic Aspen Queen Base Set for just $7,499 and get a mattress protector, fitted and flat sheet free. Free deal available on all Aspen mattress sizes. More savings online and in store. Valid at House & Home until 11 February 2024. T's and C's apply.
Do you aspire to a career in the media industry? Bring your ambitions to life with a diploma in media practices from Boston Media House in Sandton or Pretoria. Choose a combination of electives from radio, TV, advertising, animation, graphic design, digital marketing, PR, and journalism. Apply and register now to start studying 19th of February. See bostonmediahouse.ac.za for more details.
Hello, January. You feel different to December. December was nice, wasn't it? January is strange like that. Because as much as December was easy, January is hard. Giving things up, getting fit, looking ahead, making plans, changing plans. And 11 months later, it's December again. And on it goes. Year after year after year. The thing is, December is how you should feel when you retire. And all the time you spend getting there should make it worth it. That's why, after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do the things you want to do. Like turning your Januaries into Decembers. Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
We're here with their super coach, the minister.
All right, Minister Zizigoto joining us right here on hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Given the balance and the scale, your Algerians, your Egyptians, your Cameroonians, all of them out of the tournament, where does that put us?
I said, Rob, when I had a post-match talk with them, they are no underdog. The fact that any country, any team qualifies to reach that level of tournament, we are no longer an underdog. We are only an underdog when we are talking about qualifiers. I mean, one of the countries we beat to qualify to AFCON is Morocco.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Hi Rob, greetings to you and everyone listening to the show. This is Joey from Wattville in Benoni. What a great performance by Bafana Bafana last night, and I really wish the boys all the best so that they can go all the way to the finals and bring back the trophy to the country. Yeah, all we are looking for is for the president to look at the calendar so that we can have another public holiday as we did with the Springboks. That's how happy we are. Big ups to the guys once again. Thank you for the great show.
Jeez, public holiday already. Are we that far, hey, BBK? Are we as far as the holiday?
What's good for the Springboks is good for Bafana.
You know what is good? Is to lift the trophy.
I'm confident, I'm cautiously optimistic, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
There's still the last 16 to navigate.
Absolutely.
Saturday is coming, 10 o'clock is coming. Cape Verde, they are no small fish. They are no small fry. What's their nickname? The Blue Sharks.
Yes.
They swam their way against the tide, and they were the first team that qualified out of the group, top of the group. And everybody said, yeah, maybe no. We South Africans should not be big-headed. Let's keep our feet on the ground. We've had meetings with this Cape Verde.
Mm-hmm.
We've played them here, and we went there. Remember, our players were busy chilling in swimming pools,
and
taking
costumes, and six-packs.
Everything.
Yes.
And then what happened, in the end, it was a shame. It was embarrassment. So when you look at where they were then, and you look at where they are now, you see, if you're a journalist like me, it's a beautiful story to tell.
Yeah.
How many of us are we? Close to 60 million here? In the southern tip of Africa.
Yeah.
Those guys are just under 600,000. Just above 500,000. And they've got a national team that has done what they've done in a tournament that the CAF president rightfully predicted that it's going to be the best Africa Cup of Nations. So far, so good. We'll deal more with that. But let's talk Bafana. Why are Bafana winning back our hearts? Bafana are winning back our hearts because, again, it goes back to the coach.
Yeah.
Correcting your mistakes. You know, the one thing about raising your hand to say, listen, I'm sorry, I messed up on this thing, says a lot about
Starting
you.
with the Tembazwane issue.
As a human.
Yeah.
Apart from Tembazwane. Let's look at the right back. For many, many matches, Hugo Broos said, Nigo Mobi is my right back. Nigo Mobi is my number 2. I do not care what they tell me. This one is better. This one must get a place. This one deserves. You name all the players. He stuck with Nigo Mobi. But when it came to the crunch, you say to yourself, given all the challenges that I have in this job, what is working when I look around? When I look around, I cast my eye in Tlorkopo. And there's those people who are mellow and yellow. And what has been happening, even before I, as Hugo Broos, arrives in South Africa, is that that team has been consistently performing at the highest level in the continent. That is the Champions League.
Yeah.
Pitso Mosimane did what he did with Mamelodi Sundowns, and they won the Champions League. Don't come to me and tell me about backdoor and all of that. If people are going to feel the player that is ineligible and they get chucked out of the competition and Sundowns win back their place, they win back their place and they go on to win it.
The rules of the game.
It's the rules of the
and
game.
Tournament.
So if you flout the rules, you are going to pay the price. So Pito did what he did. Rulani comes in after Mangoba Mngiti, of course, and Sundowns keep on making sure that they are forever present at the Champions League level. Now, that gives you one word, which begins with an E, experience. They are playing those games, they are accumulating experience, they have cohesion about themselves, they are pushing the envelope. They are saying that this thing is not an exclusive domain of North African teams. We are going to go there and participate and also compete and win. And if you're going to win, do that against the Zamalek from Egypt. Bring down Al Ahly, who, if you're looking at club level, have done the very same thing what the national team of Egypt have done, winning the Champions League as much as the national team of Egypt have won this AFCON. And then what happens? If these guys are able to do this thing and they win the AFL, which some refer to as the MTN 8 that went to Model C, they win against a team from Morocco. Yes. With that they play in the Champions League. And that unity, that way of playing football, if you're going to transpose that from club level and bring it to a Bafana level, you are basically putting yourself in a position where you can work with something. And how are you working with something? You have the captain, Ronwen Williams, right back, Nigo Mobi, I love you, my son, but there is this Kuriso Mutau who must actually take your place. And not because it's a favor, but because he's the best right back in South Africa right now. Dare I say, in Africa right now. Mutobi Mval, the bandage man. The man who is a warrior for Rulani Mukwena and Hugo Broos, be it in the center of midfield as a center back.
But is lambasted every time in terms of him being, what does he know, what he doesn't deserve to be there. But I think people are used to comfort. You were saying it earlier on. People breed on comfort. Vala is about football. He's going to get the job done, whether you like him or you don't like him, whether he gets a red card, he doesn't get a red card. He will get the job done for the collective.
And you will not doubt that he did the job, because if you look at his head, you will see a green bondage or a white one or a red one to show you that the man has been in the wars. And then Hugo Broos makes another mistake. He starts against Mali with Sianda Klulu. Everyone that is selected to go and represent us is a South African. They are wearing these jerseys. They are wearing. I was looking for my original Bafana jersey. I was looking, ended up calling my mom in Tepe, and she says, no, it's here. You left it here when you were here for the holidays. Iwashi with Leiling Linden. But Klulu was the weakest link in the chain defensively against Mali, right? And this is not picking on him. The team loses as a collective. The team wins as a collective. And then Bruce says, okay, there is also Grant Kekana here. Let me put Grant against Namibia to sort this thing out. And then you complete that back five. Because now you have Mudau, you have Mvala, you have Kekana, and then the left man, Aubrey Modiba. Yeah. Now you've got a base. These five people play together at league level. They go and start a league and win 10 matches. Not play 10 matches without, they win all of them. And then they do what they do at Champions. So there's this cohesion that you've already built. You move on forward. The man, again, Tembazwane is going to be mentioned because it deserves to be mentioned. You have a Pesitau who is what? Africa's domestic inter-club player. You then go and say, hey, there's also this Cruz, because with Cameroon it did the very same thing. You remember?
Yeah.
Abu Bakr. And everyone was saying that this guy is a horse, he plays in China and what have you. Everybody knows what he did in the tournament. Cameroon won the tournament with 2 late goals, and one of them was scored by him. Go to Brazil and ask about Abu Bakr, they will tell you what he did to them in 2022. And then I know that I'm going to face a storm of criticism if we don't do well. But then again, when he started, he said, kill me if we don't qualify for AFCON. After qualifying, say, kill me when we don't go through to the group stages. Now we are here. Now, here's my other thing that I want to make as a plea to fellow South Africans. This team that is out there in Ivory Coast is a South African team, South African national team, Bafana Bafana. It is not Mamelodi Sundowns. We are grateful with what Sundowns has been able to do, which is now benefiting the team. And by the way, this is not rocket science. Those who have elephant memories will remember that prior to coming to South Africa to play in the World Cup, La Hoja, Spanish national team, in 2008 had won the Euro, Europe's equivalent of AFCON. They were coached by an old man, Louis Aragonés. I may be wrong, but I think he was also 71 years old, like Hugo Broos at that time.
Aged, yes.
They win. 2010, they come to South Africa. He's replaced by Vicente Del Bosque.
Again, an elder.
They win this thing. 2012, that period of 6 years, from 2008 to 2012, was the period where Spanish football took the ascendancy. It was the aristocracy of Spanish football. But the core of the message that I want to send over is that that team was built on the back of a Barcelona team that was performing outstandingly.
Under Pep Guardiola.
Transposed to the national team. And a little bit of Real Madrid. You need a crazy Sergio Ramos to be there as well. And another one from the club that you and I love, Fernando Torres. The real Fernando Torres, not the one who played for the other team in London. So we have problems. And this progress that Bafana are making there, even if they go on to win this thing, must not blind us to the fact that we have problems that we need to address with our football. Partly is to say, it is not foolproof that teams that come to national level, boasting players playing in top leagues in Europe, are automatically going to do well. Case in point, the Teranga Lions of Senegal, who arrived as defending champions, have got players playing in the EPL, they've got players playing in the Bundesliga, they are playing in Spain, they are playing in
Saudi.
They are playing in France. A lot of West African players play in France. Sadio Mane plays in Saudi Arabia in the Pro League. Where are they now?
Comfortably back home. Comfortably back at their clubs.
Sadio Mane maybe is in honeymoon. He got married before going to AFCON.
Yes.
And this tells you something. A football country or a country that claims to be a footballing nation needs to have its ducks in a row. It puts you in a better state when you have players who are all over in the world. But you can have them and not have a great coach. I admire what Aliou Cisse has done with Senegal. But then again, you'll ask yourself, Guti, how come does he have such an understanding? He comes from the junior ranks with the national teams of Senegal.
As well as that, their development is much deeper, much stronger. There's a continuity between the junior national teams, the senior national teams, and they win tournaments.
This is the thing. It's not just going there to compete. Qualifying is great. But what are you doing there? Are you there to add the numbers now? So all of these things put together say to you, we need not to forget that our house is not as well as it should. And whatever happens on Saturday, or if Bafana come back with the trophy, they lose in the semi-finals or the final itself, we must not forget there is a lot of work that we need to do. But again, back to Morocco. Those guys arrived. Robert, CAF arranges places for teams to stay in at these tournaments. Morocco said, CAF, thank you. We're going to book our own accommodation. CAF, thank you. We're bringing our own food, our own water. If I were Moroccan, I think I would be in Ivory Coast now, because I understand that they took about 200 journalists
as well
to go there. They are all crying. I'm trying to make this point that it is no surefire proof that because you've done all these things, you are going to then just arrive like that other coach of Bafana who just arrives at other meetings.
Yes. Should we remind them of who you're talking about?
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
We're here with their super coach, the minister.
All right, Minister Zizigodwa joining us right here on hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Given the balance and the scale, your Algerians, your Egyptians, your Cameroonians, all of them out of the tournament, where does that put us?
I said, Rob, when I had a post-match talk with them, they are no underdog. The fact that any country, any team qualifies to reach that level of tournament, we are no longer an underdog. We are only an underdog when we are talking about qualifiers. I mean, one of the countries we beat to qualify to AFCON is Morocco.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
It's the right coach you're talking about, right?
That's the guy.
That's the chap.
Is he good enough?
He's just arrived.
As a coach, is he good enough?
Nkom.
I hear that his name is good enough.
Yes.
Where are the top 5 African teams at the CAF rankings? Number 1 is Morocco, back in Rabat. Senegal are back home. Tunisia, they are back home. Algeria, they are in Algiers. And of course, Egypt, most salarious Egypt, they are back in Cairo. This is a tournament that has thrown so many surprises. He says we are not underdogs. No, minister, no, coach. We went there as underdogs, and it suits us just fine because we are under the radar. No one is taking us seriously. And fingers crossed, we take Cape Verde, we throw them back to the sea, they swim back to the island, and we proceed. And we need to lay a marker. Another thing that is inspiring me with this group, and I pray that Hugo Broos does not think or do what I sort of like think he wants to do after this tournament. Pack and leave and go sit on a rocking chair and play with his grandchildren.
But he promised the World Cup. He promised AFCON, and he promised, as per the agreement of the contract, AFCON and also the World Cup.
I know that.
Yeah.
I wrote about that. But when I read his comments to the Belgian media, it sounded like a man who was frustrated.
But what if he lifts the trophy? You lift the trophy, then you say goodbye.
Maybe you lift the trophy and say goodbye on a good note and say continue with your nonsense, continue not listening and all of that. I'm saying that I hope he stays simply because when you look at this group of Bafana Bafana players who are there, you look at their age. I'm not sure if Tembazwane will still have the legs when the World Cup is hosted by Canada, Mexico and the US. But I think when I look at Kuriso, when I look at Mtobi, when I look at Motiba, Grant Kekana, of course, goalkeepers can play until they are 40. Ronwen will be there, provided he still continues to perform at his best. I look at Pesitao, if Monare continues to perform at Pirates, and Maseko, you have a team that when they are kept together and continue to work with this coach who's been able to say, when he arrives, he says, there was no team. But now I have a group of players who are prepared to go there and fight. This group of players must see this as an opportunity for them to make a marker and tell the world that we can play football.
So you see them at the World Cup as well?
We have continuity.
Yeah.
We play. There are things like injuries and loss of form and all of that. But the bulk of this team continues in these World Cup qualifiers, which we've started. Look at that group, Robert.
The bulk of this conversation also continues.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, taking you around the All-Africa Cup of Nations Côte d'Ivoire 23 in Abidjan, Bouake, Koroko, San Pedro and Yamoussoukro. Hashtag MSW AFCON.
I'm Banaleli Keller, UCT Online High School's Executive Head of School. We are proud to announce that our learners have achieved outstanding results in 2023, with 90% of grade 8 to 11 learners moving into the next grade. In addition, 3 of our grade 12 learners have achieved places in Sakai's National Top 12, with the #1 spot taken by a UCT Online High School matriculant. Our 2024 grade 8 to 11 applications are still open to the 6th of February at www.uctonlinehighschool.com.
This year, why don't you fly better? Book your flights with Emirates to a holiday in Dubai, London, or Mumbai. Look forward to delicious local food, enjoy complimentary premium drinks, and relax to your favorite movies on the way. Because it's not just about the destination, it's how you get there. This year, fly Emirates. Fly better.
A phone that records, writes, and summarizes your meetings for you? Who lives like that? Circle any object, search it, and find it? Who lives like that? Speak many languages on the spot? Who lives like that? Who lives like that? You do. Galaxy AI is here with features like Note Assist, Circle to Search, and Live Translate. The new Galaxy S24 lets you feel AI at your fingertips. Epic, just like that.
Get struck by luck with the electrifying Hollywood Bets Lightning Roulette. Spin the wheel to experience thrilling entertainment and a possible max payout of up to 5 million rand. Hollywood Bets. Bet online now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bets supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Your next move is everything. Is it silencing the distractions? Or is it focusing on expanding your knowledge? Because growth requires focus. Wits Business School should be your next move, with executive education programs tailored for your needs. Now you can focus on taking the next step. Visit wbs.ac.za to register for executive education programs today. Wits Business School, sculpting global leaders.
Pizza stories by Roman's Pizza.
Dough. No, not the moolah kind. Pizza dough. Dough makes up half the taste of a pizza, right? Roman's Pizza makes fresh dough every few hours, which is very, very important because fresh is much, much better than frozen. Who likes to eat their toppings on cardboard? So you have no need to worry about the dough or the dough because you get any 2 large Savor Flavor pizzas for $159.80. Roman's Pizza, best value.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
In conversation with Coach Hugo Broos, is the Bafana Bafana national team coach.
First of all, it's very important to have your team, and a good team is always a mix of young and older players. So, and that's what I try now to achieve with Bafana Bafana.
Is about the contract. Is that something you able to share with us? How long is the contract until?
The contract is 5 years. We have to build a new team, but we have to be in AFCON, and we have to be in 26 on the World Cup. That's my mandate.
But are you finding now, Coach, that there is an understanding in terms of your philosophy, your coaching?
So we tried now with the new players to have that improvement we need.
#MSW. #MSW.
Marawa, good evening. It's Mpiwa X here from Tembisa. Let me first start by saying congratulations to Bafana Bafana for having made us proud as a nation. We are so proud of them, and I still believe there's far more to come in terms of happiness. We still have so much happiness that is in store for us from these boys, and I believe we'll be playing in the final. It's still early to talk about the final. We still have 2 hurdles before we can even think about the final, but I'm very much optimistic that we'll be playing Mali in that final of AFCON 2023. Something tells me that, and I think we'll find an opportune moment there to avenge that 2-0 deficit we suffered against them on our opening match. As for the commentary, it has been absolutely beautiful. If I were to quote Mapale Moloi, I can also put in the legendary Baba Mtetwa, and this Xhosa commentary from the other broadcasting situation. I don't think they're worth mentioning them right now. Yeah, I mean, they've been very awesome. But thank you so much, sir.
Hey, Simpiwa X, thank you very, very much indeed.
Hi, Rob. Good evening. Rob, yes, I was impressed by the display of Bafana Bafana yesterday. Beating Morocco is not a child's play. Thank you. Butingpong in the Eastern Cape.
Thank you so much indeed. All the way in the Eastern Cape, not child's play.
Hi, Marawa. What a performance. I don't want to spoil this, but Marawa, what a won. You know, I think this thing has been fueled by the media, even our politicians. The day when Mr. Mbalula said Bafana Bafana is a bunch of losers. I think it has come to a point at some point in this country where it's like it's fashionable to talk bad about Bafana Bafana. No matter what, we must always support our team. Lastly, Robert, this is a national team. You know, I think we need to grow up as fans, regardless of how badly our teams are doing. Once a team wears that national team, that player is a Bafana Bafana. He's not a Sundowns player. He's not, you know. So I think we need to just get out of that. This is a national team, not Sundowns, not Chiefs, not Pirates. Thanks, Marawa. What a display of football.
What a display of football. Great analysis here in studio today. Appreciate that, man.
Good evening, Rob. What an electrifying encounter we experienced yesterday. And when I said Pambiling Your War on my voice note yesterday, I really meant it because I could sense that we're up for this match and the guys were determined to give us and fight for this country. And what is pleasing is that, Rob, it's something that I also said in my previous voice notes, is that here we've got a team that is maturing as the tournament progresses. And that is something admirable about this group of players. And for me, I just want to compliment Utebza because when he took up that ball, you could see that he had spotted that the goalkeeper was not properly positioned. And did he not capitalize on that gap? Rob, I don't think we would ever witness any other match than this one. Tebogo, thank you so much.
Tebogo, thank you, man. And that is why we listened very, very intently to your voice note last night. And you guess what? Spot on.
Rob, yesterday, man, glad that I had some few megabytes on my phone since AFCON decided to load shed me at 10 p.m. But I could not miss this fixture for any other thing. I watched till the end. I must say that, Rob, we played well. Hugo Broos, from the first time, he's a coach who has always believed in what he selects. And that's one thing that I've seen about this Hugo Broos squad. It's like they're unpredictable. They're just one of those teams that I've realized since he took over Bafana Bafana is unpredictable. His record speaks volume. And all the best to them, and big up to the defense. They are not being unsung heroes, but I must say the defense of the team have been doing well, especially the center pairing. They are doing a good job.
If Morocco could score in the chances they had and we lost the game, maybe you ask me, Coach, why are you playing like that? But we did a very good analysis from Morocco. And it's not the first time we play against them. So we know that team because that team don't change so much. All good players. So we knew today how we had to play. And then on certain moment in the game, you need that little bit luck that we have the second half. They missed a penalty. There were a few chances we could save. And then you win the game. So it was, again, a different tactic than the other games we played. But I think this was the right tactic because, again, it's not because they lost that they become a bad team. It's really a very good team.
Coach of Bafana Bafana, Hugo Broos, chatting post the game and just saying, hey, you know, it's the coach. He takes the heat. Whatever happens, had they lost, it would have been a completely different conversation as well. It is the Sunday Times sports editor, Bareng Bartu Kortjaas, BBK, otherwise known, right here in studio with me as we take the final. Hey, you know, like these days, there's so much extra time, referee's optional time, and they say 10 more minutes here. So we got about 9 minutes. Also, people watching us on the YouTube channel, great to have you on. We're still live on the channel, lots of comments. Let me pick up one or two. James Mendes says, great show. Love BBK, very knowledgeable. Please, up the volume. Mystic Man says, I did not believe. Now I believe that we can win this thing. Go, Bafana Bafana. Mandla Sibanyoni says, this is the year that we win this thing. I even love that. We win this thing.
Yeah.
So we win a land. Hey, we win a job. Then you've got your Mihlali Mayambelas that are there, sitting on the bench, maybe thinking, anytime now, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe Saturday. We don't know. Give us your thinking in terms of how Broos handles the talent that is now seated on that bench.
They usually say if it's not broken, don't fix it. It was a bit broken against Mali. On the back, he fixed it. I like the way that we bring in Utapelo Maseko.
Yes.
I like the way that Hugo Broos believes in the strength of our team. And what is the strength of our team? We are not going to go toe-to-toe with Mali. They make me look like a dwarf. Those boys are big. Yes. Those West African boys are very big. So what the other coach says, teka, short passes, that is what we do. That is what we do with a patient build-up. That is what we do with trying to get the ball, tire them, and find those passes, pinpoint, get into spaces where they don't expect those tens, Zaga, Tembas, Wane. They will be able to push something and get more. I want to say one thing. I think Evidence Makgopa would have scored more goals by now than the one he scored last night if we shared the ball more.
What is stopping that recycling of the ball, as they call it these days within the football terminology?
We do recycle it, but I think there are moments where a Pesitao may have the ball and there may be a Makgopa in a better position. A nice pass to him may result into a goal. On a couple of occasions, it did not happen. I think it is about making sure that you are decisive with that pass. Coaches will tell you, and I'm no coach, I'm not even pretending to be one, if you are going to go for goal, if you are going to take a shot at goal, better make sure that it gets into the net, or pass the next guy, because the guy wearing this shirt, this jersey, is still your teammate. The team scores a goal. It's not about, Robert is the hero of this thing. But again, I guess I understand where it comes from. We lack football heroes in this country at national level. Well, let me call it international level.
But this group could be exactly that, a group of national heroes, because then, I was listening to a song. Again, a poet, maybe. A poem that came through from a great poet.
Yep.
Was resurfaced.
Yes.
With another great one.
Yes.
Zwakembuli.
Yes.
And he talks about, do it in memory of the late Sizwe, the late Chippa Masinga, etc. So those guys carved a niche and a mark and will forever be thought of as the heroes of 1996. That terminology at some point, BBK, needs to change.
John Mueti, John Shoes Mosweu, Clive Parker, all of them.
Phil Jones said
Ahmad Lozoetu, man, right? Phil Jones said indeed. But, I am tired of referring to the class of 96.
But they are tired.
We are not England.
1966.
66, bro. Well, I was not even an idea in my father's head, man. Katleo, my son, was not even an idea in my head. Let us have a new era. Let us write a new chapter. That is why I'm saying, Rob, continue it. This group is doing something. It's doing something to remind the whole of Africa that we can play this thing. And the greatest of all things is that the world is watching. This curve for the first time is being seen on all continents. You may be in the Caribbean, you are in South America, you are in Asia, you are in Europe. Everybody is watching the African Cup of Nations. It is live, it is producing, and there's another element to it, just to move away from the team.
Yes.
There's this thing called VAR that I'm not a big fan of.
They can't use it in England, but they can use it on the Minister of Electricity celebrated his birthday a couple of days ago. So let's connect the dots, as another minister would always say. Connect the dots, and in between there's got to be a current that gives us light. I was lucky yesterday. On the final whistle, exactly 12 midnight, not only did the referee blow for the end of the game, the lights went off immediately.
Mena, at 10 o'clock, the lights came back on. So even in that book that other people who pray a lot read, it says, let there be light. And there was light. Let there be light on Saturday when Bafana Bafana play at 10.
What would the light be in terms of score? Please venture into that. Seeing that you touch on the Bible, you didn't do well with the lotto the other week. So please just give us a final score. Then we can all go home.
At this stage, because the Springboks won by 1 point in the quarterfinals and the semis, and even in the final itself, Bafana Bafana win by 1-0 all the way through, I will take it. Even if it is Ronwen Williams who's heading it in, I don't care. We just have to keep this winning spirit. We need this. South African football needs this. When I opened, when you introduced me, I spoke about the hardships that we go through in this country. Can we get some joy from this Bafana? Can it continue? Can it make us forget for a moment, for 90 minutes, up until, when is the final? The 11th of February. I hope that, fingers crossed, we shall be there. And whatever happens there, we will have gone from South Africa as no hopers, as no one giving us a chance. We will come back as heroes. But let us not forget the challenges that we still have. Let us keep this group of players, add some more. I mean, there's still Njabulo Plum out there. There's still Bongo Musa, Bongo Gutlongwane out
America,
there.
England, Spain, you name it.
And I like the fact that even in this team, there are youngsters that are there. Your Apollos, your Adams, because they are going to grow with this experience of being there. And
let load shedding be upon us right now, because as dark as I am and as dark as you are, load shedding exists around.
Africa Cup of Nations, Cote d'Ivoire 23. Real-time action was Robert Marawa. #MSW AFCON.